Now, if you've watched Brawl Talk, you probably already have an idea of how Power League, the competitive mode, is going to work. But there are also probably a lot of questions that you still need answers to. Like, which league are you going to start in? How exactly will the pick in ban phase work? And what happens if a player disconnects during it all? Not to mention the specifics about all of the power points and whether it's going to be better or worse than Power Play. Hello, fellow brawlers, I'm KairosTime, and it is time to brawl. Now, for this update sneak peek, I'm going to answer all of those questions as well as let you know everything else that you need to know about Power League. After we do that, I'm going to show you all the new skins, including the first ever Power League exclusive skin, Smuggler Penny. Before we get into that, today's video is sponsored by Amazon? Is that right? Guys, I'm sponsored by Amazon. I think that means that I made it, right? At least I think is pretty cool. Prime Gaming and SNK are teaming up to give away over 22 classic games for free to Prime members. We're talking about over $175 worth of games for free, assuming you're a Prime member like I am and have been for like a few years now. The offer ends on March 31st, so make sure you guys click on the link and get in on this as soon as you can. We're talking about free classic games that helped shape the future of gaming, such as The King of Fighters 97 and 98, Metal Slug 2 and 3, and a game I grew up playing a ton of, King of the Monsters. I also have this really fond memory of me playing Sengoku 3 on an arcade cabinet and like being disappointed about having to leave before I could actually finish it. So I'm really excited to be able to finally beat Sengoku 3. Do yourself a favor, click on the link below and take advantage of this offer. And of course, thanks again to Amazon for sponsoring this video. Let's start off by talking about the exact process of playing a match in Power League, and then we'll talk about the league structure. Power League is the newest competitive mode in Brawl Stars that will be replacing Power Play, and you can play an unlimited number of matches per day. It unlocks from the trophy road at 4,500 trophies, and once you unlock the mode, you can choose to either play with randoms or with a pre-made team of you and your friends. And this choice is actually going to impact things because there is a completely separate solo and team league, and you're going to progress through both of them differently. Now, I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on. If you play in the solo queue, you'll have 2 random teammates, and the enemy team will also be 3 random teammates as well. But if you play with the team queue, you'll have to play with 2 of your friends, 2 teammates, and you'll get matched up against another pre-made team of 3 players. If you're playing in solo, the game will then match you with other players in your same rank or within 2 ranks of it. The game will try to do something similar for the team queue, but someone on a higher rank can team up with someone in a lower rank. And if that happens, then the matchmaking will be based off of the highest ranked player in the team. So you might want to be careful who you play with. Now, once matchmaking is done, the map will be randomly selected from any of the 3v3 game modes. The map will briefly be shown to you, but you can actually look at the map at any time throughout the entire ban and pick phase. Next, the ban and pick phase will start with a coin flip to determine which team will get first pick of the brawlers. Regardless of the flip, both teams will ban a single brawler that neither team can pick from. The team leader is randomly selected if you're playing in the solo queue, and I believe that whichever player created the room will be the team leader if you play in the team queue. These team leaders will be the ones to decide which brawler is banned, but they'll also be the last people to select the brawler that they will play with for the match. Now, this is a blind ban, so you won't actually know which brawler the enemy team is banning until both bans are revealed. And this means that both teams could happen to ban the same exact brawler. The team captains will only have 20 seconds to select the ban, and if you are the one choosing the ban, you'll tap a brawler once to select it, and then tap on it again to confirm the ban. Once both team captains have selected the bans, the players will then take turns picking the brawlers, starting with whichever team won the coin flip. Each player will only have 20 seconds to select their brawler, which they will do by tapping once, and then tapping the brawler a second time to confirm that they are picking that brawler. After a player has selected a brawler, nobody else can play that brawler on either team. By the way, if a player does not pick in time or they disconnect from the game during this process, everyone will be kicked out of the match and you'll have to start the process over. Now, even before it's your turn to select a brawler, you can actually pre-select a brawler to show your teammates which brawler you're thinking of choosing. So if your team is picking 2 brawlers back to back, it might not be a bad idea to like show your team, hey, I want to play this brawler so that they can do something else. However, if you know that you're going to pick and then the enemy team is going to pick, you should probably just pick whichever brawler you want to play the most. Now, the pick order is a snake format, starting with the coin toss winning team. This means that if the red team wins the first toss, then first pick goes to the red team, and then the second pick goes to the blue team, and then the third pick also goes to the blue team. Then the fourth pick goes to the red team, and then the 5th pick also goes to the red team, and then the blue team gets the final pick. You'll see a really big next underneath the player who will be picking next, so you can kind of look for that so you'll have an idea of when your turn is coming up and you don't have to keep track of everything. And one thing to remember is that the power level of your your brawlers will matter for this. So if you just barely unlocked a brawler, then they will be level 1 and you probably should not play them. And if you're still missing a really strong star power or gadget, you won't be able to use them either. After all players pick their brawlers, both teams will have 20 seconds to finalize preparations. You can actually select the star power and gadget at any time during this entire process, but this is a good reminder to take the time to make sure you have the right gadget and star power selected. Now, like I said at the start of the match, the map will actually be shown, but throughout this entire process, you can tap the little eye next to the map in the upper left-hand corner of the screen to see an image of the map. During this preparation phase is also another great time to look at the map as well. Now that the brawler selection is done, it is time to do a best of 3 match against the enemy team. You'll actually continue playing on the same exact map with the same brawlers after each map, and once a team gets 2 wins, the winner of this ranked mode is selected. In Power League, how much your rank goes up or down is actually different depending on what your enemy's rank is in comparison to yours. In other words, if you win against a higher ranked enemy, your rank will go up a lot. And if you lose against a higher ranked enemy, it won't go down very much. But the opposite is also true if your rank is higher than your opponent's. Now let's talk about the league in Power League, and then we're going to talk about whether or not the rewards are better or worse than in Power Play. Spoiler alert. It kind of depends. The order of the leagues are as follows: the 3 bronze leagues, silver leagues, gold leagues, diamond leagues, mythic leagues, legendary leagues, and a single masters league at the end with the highest reward of 50,000 star points. But we're going to talk about the rewards a little bit later. Once you unlock Power League, you'll start at the very bottom in bronze 1 and have to work your way up from there. Once the update drops though, players will be placed somewhere between bronze, silver, or gold leagues depending on their best power play performance ever. If your record is anywhere from 0 to 449 power play points, you'll start in one of the bronze leagues. If your record is between 450 and 899 power play points, then you'll start in one of the silver leagues. And if your record is 900 power play points or higher, you'll start in one of the gold leagues. Now, in order for you to be in the highest starting position possible in gold 3, you'll have to have a record of 1,200 points or higher, meaning that you'll be guaranteed 7,000 power points at the end of the season. Now that sounds like a lot of power points, but what you have to remember is the fact that these Power League seasons are 5 times larger than Power Play seasons. So which is actually better? Well, it actually kind of depends a lot, and so I'm going to use myself as an example. My all-time record for Power Play was just under 1,250 Power Play points. In Power Play, that gave me a reward of 8,000 power points for only 2 weeks of playing. Multiply that by 5, and that would give me 40,000 power points in the same time that a single Power League season would last. In other words, that's almost 6 times worse PowerPoint rewards if I could consistently do that well in Power Play. So at first glance, it looks like there are going to be some players that are going to get big cuts in rewards because of Power League. However, that was my all-time record in Power Play, and I had organized teammates that I scheduled with when we strategized beforehand, came up with the best brawlers to play every single day for that entire 2 weeks. And after I reached that record, I kind of just started playing with randoms, and I could only consistently reach about 1,000 Power Play points, which only gave me 3,000 Power Point rewards every 2 weeks. And that is still better than the gold 3 rewards that will be given to me in Power League. With that said though, I still got to be honest, right? And let you know that as more and more time went on, my interest in Power Play decreased more and more to the point where I'm barely actually getting any power points from Power Play now. So these Power League rewards are starting to look really nice. Plus, progress from Power League seems to be a lot more permanent than Power Play, because in Power Play, you lose all of your progress every single 2 weeks and you kind of have to restart. Now, there will be some decay to your rank after each season in Power League, and I don't know exactly how much decay will happen, but I know that it's not going to be as harsh as in Power Play, where you're literally reset every 2 weeks. And even after the decay, players only have to play at least 1 match during the Power League season to receive some season rewards. Now, what's really interesting is the top 500 players, which I believe is the Masters League. Top 500 players must stay active for the entire season in order to retain their rank. If they don't play at least 1 match per week, they'll actually lose progress until they are no longer in the top 500. Now, I don't know if there are going to be any additional rewards for being in the top 500, but in Power Play, the top players earned an additional bonus of star points if they were in the top 200. So I think this might be something that Supercell will do, but we're not 100% sure. Now, I don't know exactly how quickly people will climb up the rankings, but my guess is that there will not be enough time for players to reach Masters League before the next Power League season. This is just all speculation on my own part. I don't actually know that, but my guess is that Supercell will figure out those bonus rewards in a future update. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there will be separate ranks for both the solo queue and the team queue. You can actually see this in action right here, where I have a solo and a team rank. And how this is going to work is that at the end of the Power League season, your rewards will be based off of whichever you reach the highest in. So you do not have to play with teams if you prefer playing solo, and you do not have to play with randoms if you prefer playing with your friends. You can play however you like playing the most without missing any rewards, because you're only going to be given rewards from your highest rank in whichever league you did the best for the entire season. And you can actually look at the leaderboards, and I'm really excited that for the first time, there will be leaderboards for both leagues, meaning that we'll finally be able to see which players are the best in the game at playing with randoms. Now, power points are not the only rewards that you're going to get. There will also be 2 pins available as rewards. The silver pin is given for just playing 3 matches throughout the entire season. That's a piece of cake. And the gold pin is given to players for reaching gold 1 at any time throughout the season. If your record in power play was 900 points or higher, you're just automatically going to be given that. Additionally, you'll unlock the option to purchase Smuggler Penny if you play at least 5 matches during this season. Just to clarify, she's not going to be given to you. You unlock the ability to purchase her. And speaking of Smuggler Penny, let's start talking about the new skins coming to Brawl Stars. Smuggler Penny will be the newest star point skin and will cost 25,000 star points. Like I said before, she can be only purchased by playing the Power League for that Star Force season. So players that do not play Power League in the next like 30 or so days will not ever be able to unlock her. And one thing to note is that you do not need to buy her this season though, because as long as you play those 5 matches during the season, you will always have the option to buy her later on. It looks like Smuggler Penny fires a plasma bomb or something like that that explodes on impact, which looks really cool. And her super turret fires balls of plasma, which also look pretty cool. This is definitely my new favorite skin for Penny. Next, we have Superstar Stu. This skin is pretty much just a recolor of Stu and is only going to cost 29 gems. As a 30 gem skin, it doesn't have any changes to his animations or anything like that. The newest BB skin is actually really unique. It's BB Vigilante or Bibilante, and it's going to cost 49 gems. Typically, skins only cost 30 gems, 80 gems, 150 gems, or 300 gems. We have had 50 gems specials for skins that normally cost 80 gems, but we've never had a skin with a base price of 50 gems or, 49 gems, which is actually kind of interesting. She does have some slight attack animation changes, but her super animation is the same. Finally, we have PSG Dynamic. PSG Dynamic will be free if you can win 9 matches without losing 4 in the PSG challenge. You'll be able to buy 2 extra lives up to 3 times for a total possible 10 losses before sealing your fate. But buying lives will cost more gems each time. The first 2 extra lives will cost 30 gems, the second will cost 80 gems, and the third set of extra lives will cost 170 gems, which is not worth it because once the challenge is over, maybe a week or 2 afterward, he will then show up in the shop and players will be able to purchase him for 149 gems. This skin is the same as Coach Mike's, but with the PSG colors and styles, which is pretty cool. And that is everything that I'm going to show you in this sneak peek. And if you want some more, don't forget to subscribe. And I've released 2 sneak peeks already that you should watch. Then there are some videos over here, right here, that you can watch. Yeah, don't forget to use code Kairos in the Brawl Stars shop. For now, guys, this is KairosTime ticking by, and we will see you in Brawl Stars.